Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost. Boost. I'm YouTube famous now. Available in 2021, the album Dad AF. Rock on. Gold Dust. Boost. Woman. Hi, I'm Peter. How are you? You're like, yes, we know. And you're back. And I'm back. How are you doing? Happy Wednesday. I just went and reviewed. I thought I had it right down here, but I don't. I actually have my coffee for the day in my new Starbucks summer cup. Isn't it? She's so pretty, isn't she? Anyway, I just went and reviewed the apple fritter frappuccino from Starbucks over my review channel, Peter Reviews Stuff, and it was so delicious. You guys really should check it out. It's probably one of my favorite frappuccinos I've ever reviewed over there. Yesterday, I also, on my Peter Does Stuff channel, I told the story of my dog, Boo Radley, and Mrs. Birdie that we had on our front porch 2 years ago, and now her sister, Gertie Birdie, is back, and she has built a nest, and she is waiting for her babies to come. And Boo Radley is very excited about it. Boo Radley is so excited. But he said, don't even worry about it. I'm my own person, okay? And I can take care of me and the birdies. From now on, you don't have to worry about them. So I put that video up there. I even put a clip in there of a little short film, a minute and 49-second short film that I put together 2 years ago about Mrs. Birdie and Boo Radley. So for those of you that enjoy stuff like that, please go check it out on my Peter Does Stuff channel. I receive so much support on that channel, and I'm having so much fun over there, and I just want to say thank you so much. I just want to say thank you so much for supporting me on all my channels. It means a lot to me. And let's see what else I want to say. Oh, one other thing I want to say. No, this is not my book for the month. The book that I am reading this month for Peter's Book Club is Mexican Gothic. But if you are looking for a fantastic book to read for Pride Month, I'm currently listening to Pumpkin by Julie Morphe. She is the one that wrote Dumplin', which they turned into a movie on Netflix, and that is one of my favorite books of life. And Pumpkin is the third book, not in a series, but it takes place in the same town, and it's about this gay teenager who has a sister that's a lesbian and very accepting parents, actually, and his dream is to be on, his dream is to be on the show called The Fiercest of Them All, which is kind of like RuPaul's Drag Race. And then he gets nominated to be prom queen, and unknowingly, and not happy about it either. And it's just such a fantastic novel. So if you're looking for a book out there to celebrate Pride Month, it is a fantastic book. It is by Julie Morphe, and it's called Pumpkin. Dumplin's her first one. Well, it's not her first book, but it's the first one in that kind of series of characters. So please go check it out, and it's just such a great book to celebrate Pride. All right, let's get into today's video. I actually might make 2 drama videos over here. I always threaten that, right? And then I don't do it, you know? But I might actually just turn around, change the shirt, put a different striped shirt on, and make a second drama video, because I have 2 things to talk about today, and I don't want to put them all in one video. Today I'm going to talk about Jeffree Star in this video, of which I've seen there are a lot of drama videos talking about this, a lot of commentary videos, TV videos, whatever you want to call them, talking about Jeffree Star. Now, Jeffree Star, I would say, in the last month has kind of tried his best to stay in his own lane. He even says in this video clip that I'm going to show you, I've been staying in whenever I watch these video clips, he says, I've been staying in my own lane, I've been doing my own thing. I always wonder, in watching these clips of Jeffree Star, do the people around him ever get an authentic moment with him? Does he ever just sit down there with a Red Bull and be like, hey, what's going on with you? How are you doing today? Or is it always very exaggerated? He is one of the most affected people. And when I mean affected, affected. It's just such a performance every time. And I'm like, it's all a character to me, you know? It's does anybody ever get to see the real Jeffree Star? Have we ever really seen a genuine moment? And I think that's hard when you're listening to somebody try to get honest or tell their story or whatever. It's when you really have never witnessed an authentic moment from them, of where they're just hey guys, even when he's done his apology videos, he's very posed, sitting on the gold couch, let me tell you what happened. It's always so affected, this character of who he is. I kind of wonder if anybody's ever really seen the true Jeffree Star, you know? And if not, why is that? What is he afraid of showing that's deep down inside of himself? But anyway, what happened was, yesterday, I've got all the receipts right here that you would ever want to see. Def Noodles put out this tweet, and it says, totally unexpected, Jeffree Star cosmetic products being sold at TJ Maxx in Idaho. So I will put this screenshot up for you right here. What's interesting about it, and this is actually it's a collaboration. Jeffree Star clears this up. It's a collaboration that he did with Jouer Cosmetics. But what's crazy about that is, for about the last year, I have had nonstop people send me DMs of things they have found in TJ Maxx, things they have found in Marshall's, makeup of Jeffree Star's, not collaborations, but actually his makeup. Tracksuits at Goodwill, tracksuits at other places, Shane Dawson merch, Through Killer merch of his, on and on and on. So it's interesting to me that he finally chose to come out and address this. And he kind of, I do think it's interesting now because he retweeted actually 2 things of Def Noodles. And I'm like, okay, well, you've already gone through 1 round of drama channels. And so now here's your 2nd round that you're trying to, I don't know, like address or befriend or whatever. And I was like, this is interesting to me, okay? Now again, drama channels are on your radar. What's this all about, right? So Jeffree Star retweeted it and he responded to it and said, I think it's time to sit down and do a video update on how this happened and also how Morphe betrayed me by putting me in UK's TK Maxx stores earlier this year, which I'm assuming is close to like the same thing as TJ Maxx. I'm done being shamed for the lies, is what he says. Okay, so it's interesting to me. And then when you watch the video clip here, I'm going to show you in just a second, he kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily belittles Dennis from Def Noodles, but kind of he does. He's like, now, Dennis, you know that this is a collaboration that I did with Jouer. It's not actually like my cosmetics. But like I said, I have received so many messages from people that have just taken pictures all over Facebook in these Facebook makeup groups. They constantly are posting pictures of Jeffree Star's makeup from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, whether it's from Morphe or not, I don't know, being found in these different stores, these clearance stores, which is exactly what they are. And Jeffree Star says in his story, he's like, which there's nothing wrong with that, except for that Jeffree Star has made jokes about it in the past and said, can you even imagine your makeup basically being in these places? So he has made fun of it in the past. So now the joke is on him, right? And that's where it's like, okay, you're going to finally come out and clear this up. So let me go in here and read you the rest of things. So he put on his Instagram story this receipt. Here, I'll show this. This is the receipt from Def Noodles. And he said, girl, across it. And then he came out and he put this message out for the world to hear. Here you go.
Donatella, I think it might be time to say the truth about a few things, Pumpkin. What do you think? Okay, guys, on a serious note, if you read that last post, Mr. Noodles, you know that is not a Jeffree Star Cosmetics product. That is a collab I did with a brand called Jouer years ago, bitch. It's a little ancient. But this is another incident where my name is in TJ Maxx, and there's nothing wrong with that. But about months ago, Morphe put me in TK Maxx, which is in the UK. And the conspiracy collection was there. I never really acknowledged it. I was afraid of speaking on anything because anytime I say anything, it always gets misconstrued. But I think I'm tired of being afraid, and I think if things need to go on the record and be set straight, it's time. I've been staying in my lane. I've been doing me for a minute. So when things are constantly brought up to me or to my attention, sometimes it does get a little old because it's like, wow, why can't I just say what happened so everyone can stop guessing? Sometimes people don't need to know, but I think when you have such a strong relationship with someone and then it ends so suddenly and then it still is trickling down a year plus later, it's like, girl, let's just put it to rest. So tomorrow I'm gonna film a video and just sit down and keep it really real. There's no time for feelings. It's business.
There's no time for feelings. It's business. He said it. Jeffree Star said it. I thought this was very interesting. That he said, something about the TJ Maxx, but like that, there's nothing wrong with that. Why don't you come out and address how your makeup is in TJ Maxx or Marshall's or, Goodwill or places like, that's what I would find interesting. So you're not going to talk about the makeup being in TJ Maxx in the United States, okay? But you're gonna talk about the makeup being in TK Maxx in the UK and why Morphe put it in there. Yet again, Jeffree Star victimizing himself and saying, you know, look what was done to me, I was betrayed, all this stuff was done to me, which we're gonna get into in just a second, right? And I don't know what contracts he had with Morphe or why they're allowed to do that or whatever. I have to believe that a lot of these makeup companies sell their surplus makeup to these, you know, clearance stores. I just have to believe that that's to get rid of surplus stuff, right? I don't know if that's like the ultimate betrayal. I don't know if that's whatever. It's also interesting, you know, when Jeffree Star says that like he feels like he has to come out and clear his name because all his stories get misconstrued. The stories get misconstrued because Jeffree Star never addresses the real issues about things that people want him to address, and that he has been caught in so many lies. Jeffree Star has been caught in so many lies and never addresses it. Never once addresses it, you know? It's like, for me, it's like you're still doing the whole Hair by Jay thing and you're still not addressing any of that. I mean, there's all of these huge issues that what you say is, I'm not gonna be the drama, I'm not gonna address this, I'm not gonna address the drama, and then what you do is, you pick and choose which drama you are going to address, knowing that to come out and talk about the fact that Morphe sold his stuff to TK Maxx in 2020, okay, last year, is going to get every drama channel and every commentary channel and everybody on Twitter talking about it to deflect off the fact that your stuff is right here in the United States in TJ Maxx, right? Why is that? Is that on Morphe too? Oh, but wait a second. Okay, here's my huge issue with it. If Jeffree Star is going to come out and talk about what a betrayal it was that Morphe, a brand that he had a deal with, a contract with, right? How they betrayed him and how they lied to him and all this kind of stuff, which I will be interested to hear what he says about that. I don't really know what he's going to say about how they fully betrayed him. I mean, I'm sure it'll be very much like, I brought Morphe a lot of money through the years, which is true. Morphe also made you a lot of money through the years, you know, by putting you in their stores and whatever. He'll go on to say, like, what a great relationship they had and all that kind of stuff. What I don't believe that Jeffree Star will mention, okay, because he says in there, you know, when a relationship ends very suddenly. But he didn't address why the relationship ended. And here we are almost a year out, and we're still wondering, why did Morphe drop Jeffree Star? I actually went in and I read quite a few articles from last year talking about why did Morphe drop Jeffree Star, and there were a lot of things, okay? It was about the Tati stuff, because Tati had just come out and she had put her video out. There were his ties to Shane Dawson, and Tati saying that Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson were allegedly part of all of that had happened behind the scenes. There were a lot of videos of Jeffree Star's racist past, which these articles speculated were part of why Morphe dropped Jeffree Star. So if Jeffree Star wants to get into a video and say, the reason that Morphe dropped me was that I was, you know, hurting their reputation as a company, and a lot of people were coming to Morphe and saying, why aren't you dropping Jeffree Star? Why aren't you dropping Jeffree Star? Why aren't you dropping Jeffree Star? Because they had already dropped the Shane Dawson, all that kind of stuff, and then come out and say, well, Morphe dropped me, A, because of my videos from my past of showing racist behavior, number one. Number two, they dropped me because of my continued behavior with people and coming for people online and saying things. Three, for my possible, you know, Tati's allegations that I was involved with anything that went on behind the scenes. Not to say, you know, like, and let me tell you the story about all of that, because it's a little too late at this point. If you're going to come out a year later, should have addressed it a year ago, okay? But to come out now, if you're going to tell us why you were so betrayed by Morphe, tell us why you were dropped by Morphe. Explain why you were dropped by Morphe. Explain why they didn't want to work with you anymore as a company, and why they felt that you were hurting their reputation. I would be interested to hear that from Jeffree Star's own mouth, because he has never really addressed that. And in fact, I went in and I looked to see how this had been addressed, and let me just tell you, hold on a second. I saw that Morphe had put out this statement, and this was on, just to fact check, just to do, you know, history before Jeffree Star comes out with this video. On 7/10 of last year, so July 10th, Morphe came out and said, today we've made the decision to cease all commercial activity related to Jeffree Star and affiliated products. We expect this to conclude within the coming weeks. As we look to the future, we will continue to share updates on what lies ahead for the Morphe brand. Jeffree Star Cosmetics responded to this and said, on the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Instagram, hey Star family, We are shocked and extremely saddened by the decision of our former retail partner, Morphe Brushes, on parting ways with our brand and Jeffree. Over the past 5 years, we've accomplished amazing things together and released iconic products. We are proud of everything we've accomplished with them. What's next? We have an incredible remainder of 2020 planned and are excited to share our new products with you and our partners around the world. We know our customers will continue to create, inspire, and push the boundaries of our art. Love you all so much, Jeffree Star Cosmetics. So what's interesting to me about that is, and I think that was put out basically on the same day, that was put on the exact same day, July 10th, 2020. What's interesting to me about that is that it seems to me that there was some conversation that occurred behind the scenes with Jeffree Star Cosmetics, Jeffree Star, and Morphe, right? People had alleged for years that they thought that Jeffree Star had some kind of holdings in Morphe. Look at my ring light, and now I got shadows all over the place. But anyway, that Jeffree Star had some kind of holdings or was a partner with Morphe Cosmetics, of which he came out and said he wasn't. But he had said before in a video clip in an interview that he was, speculatively, allegedly. So, then they drop him and they go their separate ways. And at that time, there seemed that there had been some kind of conversation that occurred behind the scenes where Morphe put out their statement, Jeffree Star put out his statement with Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and then they went their separate ways, of which, if you remember, and a lot of these articles talked about, months later, Morphe was still selling his products, okay? So it's interesting to me that now he wants to come out a year later, and I'm wondering if he wasn't allowed contractually to talk about the ending of their relationship or whatever had happened with Morphe for a year. I'm wondering if we're now just talking about this because we're coming up on, a year, if that has anything to do with it. Although I would think if that were the case, it would be a full year out. It wouldn't be 11 months. But that is interesting to me, that Jeffree Star is coming out and talking about how Morphe did him wrong, okay? I'm interested in how Jeffree is going to talk about how Morphe betrayed him without talking about his own problematic behavior that got Morphe to drop him to begin with. Morphe would never have dropped Jeffree Star had Jeffree Star not had a history of being problematic and taking responsibility for that and showing that he was a changed person, okay? So how are you going to come out in a video and talk about, I can't wait to see this video, honestly, to see what he says. And is it a spun narrative, which you guys know I don't like? I mean, is it Hogwarts wand and let me just create this whole storyline to you about how bad I was screwed over by Morphe when you made tons of money off Morphe? Yes, they made money off of him as well. I mean, it was mutually parasitic. I mean, let's be for real, right? But they made a lot of money off of each other. You're going to come out a year later and talk about the company that dropped you. I'm sure they didn't want to drop him. I mean, Morphe is so slow to drop people. We just saw this with James Charles. They don't want to drop anybody because that's their bread and butter. They were going to still make money from Jeffree Star, right? They didn't want to drop him. So they dropped him because of the social public outcry of you got to drop Jeffree Star. That was what was going on at the time, right? Like if you remember back then. It's like Jeffree Star seems to forget the past. Like, he chooses what he wants to remember about the past. And a lot of these influencers seem to do that, It's like, no, that wasn't really how it went. Jeffree, like, you were under a lot of scrutiny. You and Shane Dawson could do nothing right at that moment. Morphe dropped you. Well, it's now been a year. You've sat over there. You've continued to push your videos. You've continued to put videos out. You've gotten over the scandals. You've stayed out of some major scandals the last couple years or whatever. And now here it is, and he thinks it's the time to talk about Morphe. The reason he didn't talk about Morphe a year ago and how he felt betrayed by them is because everybody would have looked at him and said, you feel betrayed by a company that dropped you because of your own problematic behavior? No, but it's been a year, and now he assumes that everybody has forgotten that, right? This is why it's important to remember history. This is why it's important to remember. And one of the things that frustrates me the most, and it is what it is when I watch videos of people talking about like Jeffree Star and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, do you totally forget like what happened to this and this happened this? And not just with Jeffree Star, but with any of these people out there, I was going to talk about something to do with Tana Mojo in my next video, and it was like people were talking about her microaggressions and all this kind of stuff. I was like, people quickly forget, And these influencers know what they're doing. They stay out of, if they can, they stay out of trouble for a little bit, and then it's like their fans and their stands completely forget of all the things they did, Well, a year ago, I mean, there were all these people that were coming out and they were saying that Jeffree Star, still used racist language and the people that he hired were problematic and what happened in Las Vegas and all this was, I mean, there were so many things coming out about Jeffree Star, right? Are you going to talk about that in your video? Are you going to address that? Are you going to address why you're continuing to back Hair by Jay, who came out and just was ruthless to another human being? And why you're probably not somebody that a lot of companies would want to support and back, except for the only thing that you can do for them is maybe make them some money? If you're going to talk about the betrayal that you felt, you have to talk about the whole situation. This is where I talk about in my videos on a regular basis. When you want to talk about being a changed person, anybody, right? And you want to talk about I'm making changes in the world and I'm trying to be a better person, you have to go back and you have to look at, do inventory evaluation, whatever. This is not just a recovery thing, but this is what I do in my life. You have to look at that. But for me, one of the most valuable things that I have learned is when I have a resentment at somebody, for example, Jeffree Star being upset with Morphe, right? When you look at a situation like that and you process it as a grown adult and you work through that and you work through, this is why I'm angry. This is why I'm resentful. This is why I feel betrayed. How did it affect me? Well, it affected my pocketbook. It affected my reputation because they dropped me. They don't want to work with me anymore. People have their own belief systems about it. There's a lot of people out there that I've never told the truth about what really happened, and my feelings are hurt, and it's really affected me on all over, blah, blah, blah. But the fourth part of that is, what is my part in this? If Jeffree Star is willing to get in a video and talk about his part in what happened with Morphe, I will respect him more than I respect him today. But until he does that, don't cry me a river, okay? Like, about how you made so much money off this company and then they dropped you because you're problematic. Sorry. I mean, like, that just kind of goes along with the territory. You can't just continue to be problematic over and over and over again and people are going to be okay with that. At what point do you take a look at your own behavior and say, wow, this is on me. I need to change who I am as a person? And I have said, you know, in the last year, talking about Jeffree Star, he's going to have to take a look at himself at some point and take accountability for his actions. Not just, I'm a changed person. I don't know who that was. I don't do that today. But really take a look at, who were you? Why did you think that was okay? Because that is what ended up with you having companies drop you, or companies not wanting to work with you anymore, or YouTubers not wanting to work with you anymore, or your reputation being affected. Not maybe who you are today, but who you were. So you have to take a look at that, because there has to be some part of that today of who you are today has been affected by who you are in your past. And if you don't want to look at that, that means you don't really want to take an honest look at your life, right? And that's where I don't want to sit here and hear people talk about, well, Jeffree Star's the American dream and he's done this and he's done that, right? Well, how many people's shoulders has he walked on along the way that he isn't willing to address today? I mean, if you want to talk about the journey of Jeffree Star and he's going to write this autobiography and talk about how far he's come, how honest of an autobiography is that going to be? Are you going to talk about all of the things that have happened in the past? Are you going to talk about how that made you today? And when you look at those video clips, what they make you think? You know? Are you willing to do that? I've had to do a lot of that. I've had to take a look at myself and my past and things that I'm not proud of, you know, and say, wow, like, why did I think that was okay, you know? And understand why some people in my life walked away and that wasn't okay. And I don't want to be that person today. And what is my part in that, right? And because the only thing I can control going forward is my part. And here we are, Jeffree Star wants to tell on somebody. And if you've watched my videos long enough, what you know is, to me, it's just such a waste of time, okay? I could sit here all day long and I could point to people and say, if you knew what this person did to me, if you knew what that person did to me, if you really knew the truth behind that. But that's petty fifth grade crap to me. It's such a waste of time. It's like, instead, why don't you sit on video and talk about what you've done? Why don't you talk about the accountability that you need to take and why you're going through some growth and some changes in your life, you know? Instead of, again, calling somebody out. You know, it's not just about when I have one finger pointed at somebody, I have four fingers pointed back at me. It's not just about that. It's that when I'm pointing at somebody else and I'm telling you, if you knew what this person did to me, you would understand why I am the way that I am. It's pointless. It's time wasted that I am spending on somebody else that I could be spending on me being the best version of myself. And no offense to Jeffree Star, okay? But no matter how many houses, no matter how many pink cars you drive, no matter how many Birkins or Balmain outfits you have or Louis Vuitton bags you have, okay, that doesn't equal any kind of quality person whatsoever. And I know quite a few angels that walk on earth that carry Louis Vuitton bags. But I also know a lot of angels that walk on earth that don't. And that doesn't, to me, qualify somebody as a good changed person, okay? What it just means is you got enough cash in the drawer to go buy a Louis Vuitton purse. That's all that means. It doesn't mean anything more than that, right? It's okay to like those things, but if that is all that defines you, who really are you at your core? If you can't get in a video without blaming somebody else and really how they screwed you, and maybe they did. Maybe Morphe really betrayed him. I don't know, right? But it's business, okay? No feelings, it's business. Well, you are all business. You always have been. You don't show your feelings. That's why we don't get in a video and you don't get in a video and talk to your audience and say, you guys, I really screwed up in the last 15 years of my life. I look back at some of those things and I am so ashamed and so embarrassed. I don't understand what I thought was okay about that at the time. Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear your part in all of this as well, you know? So all that's going on, and then if you want to even hear more about it, Jeffree Star came out and then he said that he had visited with his doctor and now it's time that he's got 2 weeks until he can start sucking the D again. Thank you, Jeffree. I feel so much better now that I know that, okay? This is another thing. It's like where Jeffree lives in this fantasy world that he thinks people really care about that, okay? That he thinks that people really care about people jumping into his DMs, wanting to sleep with him and whatever. And I honestly think it's really sad, you know, when you minimize yourself to, and maybe he doesn't want a relationship. Maybe that's not important to him, okay? But in the series with Shane Dawson, when he was talking about marriage and getting, you know, like maybe a wedding, do you guys remember that? He talked about that with Nathan, right? Just sad. And I think, you know, to some degree when I look back, and hell, I don't know what that relationship was about, okay? I don't know. I don't know if it was real or if it wasn't. I used to think it was real. Who knows these days, right? I mean, there's so much speculation about it. But the thing is that Jeffree Star seemed the most likable when he was with Nathan at that time. He was still problematic, but he seemed the most likable, you know? When you share your life with other people, whether that's friends or that's romantic, and they're people that care about you, they care enough to tell you, you know, like when you've messed up. They're not co-signing your BS just because, you know, like they can ride on your coattails to the top, you know, but they're actual real friends that care about you on a deep level. I think that your life looks a lot different. I don't know. Maybe Jeffree has those people in his life. I hope that he does. You know, I hope anybody does out there. But it's just sad to me that you put this all out there like all anybody cares to know about you is that you're edgy and that you make makeup that people like and that you can suck good D, okay? Okay, who can't? By the time that you're your age and you've been doing it for a while, shouldn't we all be able to do it, okay? I'm just saying, let's be for real. And I don't get on video and talk about it because nobody wants to hear about that from me, and I know that, okay? It's not like I'm running an OnlyFans and people are begging for it. Let's just be for real, okay? Read the room, know your audience. And you also have a young audience. People don't want to know about that. That's uncomfortable to them. So whenever I read tweets like that from Jeffree Star, I'm like, this is so uncomfortable. Like, do you even understand that? Like, and I'm not somebody that's a fan of him, and it's uncomfortable for me to read. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I don't know. And it's just, I think that he lives in a world where he doesn't really see everything that's going on, you know? And then he's over here, and then Jaclyn Hill put out this campaign. Did you see this? She said, I'm so excited, I'm screaming, and I'm so proud to have the first boy in a Jaclyn Cosmetics campaign. And she put this ad up. That was cute. It was very much like, you know, kind of Marie Antoinette-ish and whatever, all that. And then Jeffree Star retweeted and said, B! This is getting me excited about makeup again. Again. Love this concept and packaging. This is getting me excited about makeup again. So were you not excited about makeup when you were shilling out all this makeup? You've been putting out new products. You weren't excited about makeup? What were you then? Excited about the money that was going to pay for new Louis Vuitton Birkins and houses in the mountains? I guess. Because you weren't excited about makeup. But you didn't say that, okay? Anyway, it's all of it just, oh, my coffee. It's all of it business to me. Makes me sad. Makes me sad for the person out there that is a diehard Jeffree Star fan that loves him so much that doesn't really see what it's all about. That's what makes me sad. Anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.